I have gotten an awful lot of comments recently about whether or not believers should be celebrating birthdays. Since today is my birthday, it feels fitting to do this video. When it comes to birthdays in scripture, there's not a whole lot of information we're given. The only times birthday celebrations are mentioned in scripture, it's for pagans. Genesis 40, and on the third day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, he made a feast for all his servants, and lifted up the head of the chief butler, and the head of the chief baker among his servants. He restored the chief butler to his butlership, and he placed the cup in Pharaoh's hand. But he hanged the chief baker as Joseph had interpreted to them. Matthew 14, but when Herod's birthday came, the daughter of Herodias danced for the company and pleased Herod, so that he promised with an oath to give her whatever she might ask. Prompted by her mother, she asked, "Give me the head of John the Baptist on a platter." And then they beheaded John the Baptist. 2 Maccabees 6, on the monthly celebration of the king's birthday, and on a side note, I guess the king's so cool he gets a monthly birthday, but beside the fact, the Jews were taken under bitter constraints to partake of the sacrifices, and when the feast of Dionysus came, they were compelled to walk in the procession in honor of Dionysus, wearing wreaths of ivy. So as you can see in scripture, the only real times that birthdays are mentioned in the Bible, it is the celebration of pagan leaders. And it's usually surrounded by negative connotations like the beheading of John the Baptist or the hanging of the chief baker or the oppression of the Jews. Some people use this fact to say that we shouldn't celebrate birthdays. But again, I would urge all of you to take that stance into consideration. To my knowledge, not one time in Scripture is it ever mentioned that God's people cannot celebrate their birthday. And we cannot teach our convictions as commandments of God. If you choose not to celebrate your birthday, totally fine. I fully support that. But for those of you that do want to celebrate your birthday, I just urge caution in how you do celebrate it. For instance, with the lighting of birthday candles. This article can be found at keepbk.com. The earliest stories of candles and cakes are linked to the ancient Greeks. Once a month, they would celebrate the birth of Artemis, goddess of the moon, by making round cakes. Lit candles would be placed on the cake to represent a glowing moon, and their smoke would carry wishes and prayers to the sky-dwelling gods. This doesn't mean you can't have a cake, but perhaps we should reconsider the celebration with candles. And for the record, the rest of this is going to be my personal advice to you. Take it or leave it. Personally, I believe a birthday celebration can escalate very quickly into a look at me, worship me kind of a thing. How modern day America tends to celebrate birthdays, it is a huge show that is honestly very prideful. People invite tons of people over to their house for them or for their kids, all to honor their own child's birth or their own birth. It's very showy, it's very look at me, it's very prideful, arrogant, whatever bad words you want to call it, it's that. I don't think as believers we should be doing displays like that anymore. If your family wants to have a little get together and celebrate your birthday and have dinner with you, even a cake or give you a present or two, I don't see anything wrong with that personally. But when it becomes a show, when it becomes a look at me right now kind of a thing, honor me right now kind of a thing, I think we should have a problem with that. I think people in essence are turning themselves or their children into idols, and I don't think we should partake of that. But there's nothing in scripture that says we can't celebrate our birthdays. In fact, people obviously knew their birthdays. The birthday of Jesus, the birthday of John the Baptist are well recorded in Luke. They knew their birthdays. Now, how they honored their birthdays, who knows? Scripture doesn't tell us those things. Ironically, though, anyone who celebrates the feast days of the Most High is most likely celebrating the birthday of Jesus. It's well documented at this point that his birthday was in the fall. It was most likely either Feast of Trumpets or during Sukkot. So if you celebrate those days, you're probably celebrating Jesus' birthday. But how he would want us to celebrate them, by honoring the Father. Yeshua was never a look at me kind of person. He gave all the glory to his Father, the Most High. And perhaps, just perhaps, that should be a model for our birthdays. We give the Most High the glory. After all, he is the one that sewed us in the womb and allowed us to be born in the first place. And again, this is just my opinion. You have the right to agree or disagree with it. I'm not out here preaching this as gospel. But today, on my birthday, I give all the glory to the Most High. If it was not for him, I wouldn't even be born, and I couldn't have the opportunity to even celebrate my birthday or have loved ones that care that I'm born. So if you want to help me celebrate my birthday today, give all the glory to the Most High, without whom none of us would have a birthday in the first place.